Hi, I'm Bob Clute, and I'm the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity, Prince Edward Hastings. Well, I've known Andy Babiak for a number of years, and he's a quality businessman. And then I heard that he had Barbecue in a Box program, and it was a natural for us to do business with him. Habitat for Humanity is a not-for-profit organization, and we rely on a large number of volunteers and sponsors to build homes. And in my business, it's very, very important to say thank you to each party. And this was a concept that we wanted to introduce to Habitat for Humanity and say thank you in a very proper fashion. The event that we hosted was probably for a group of 60 to 70 people, and they were all volunteers, either in our restore operation or building a home. And many of them were significant donors that provided us with the financial resources that we needed to build those homes. And it was a great turnout, and we had a phenomenal reception from people that had come to celebrate their volunteerism. Barbecue in a Box is absolutely unique. And by being unique, there's nothing else on this earth like it. They come to your event with great-looking cars, great food, and their staff are so accommodating. It is totally unique. And the important part about having the party was that our guests were overwhelmed. They'd never either been to something like this. This was totally unique to them. And they poured over the cars. They couldn't believe how a barbecue could actually fit under the hood of a car, or an ice cream dispenser could be in the trunk of a car. And the variety of cars was absolutely phenomenal. The setup is really astounding. I remember looking out the window of our office building, and these people were setting up tents, tables, chairs, bringing the cars in on dollies and putting them in place. Everything was done, and the next thing I knew when I went out, Andy and his staff were there for the party, and our guests started to show up, and it was absolutely amazing how quickly they were able to set up and so efficiently. And then when the party was over, the tables disappeared, the chairs disappeared. And we're a small organization. We don't have a lot of staff to handle some of this stuff. Everything was picked up, including the garbage. There was no refuse left around anywhere. It was absolutely squeaky clean. We had guests that were young in age and others that were more mature. You know, and a good-looking car from the 50s and the 60s always stands out. And whether they were young children with their families or with their parents or seniors, it really turned a crank for them. They loved it. Food is served so neatly from different parts of the automobile. And you normally go to a party and you'll find drinks in one area, pop in one area, and juice in another. Everything was together, and it was in a proper cooler that was car-oriented, and it was so easily dispensed and so easily kept cold. People got a kick out of going to the cooler to get something to drink. The food is perfectly matched to the Barbecue in a Box theme, and it's not the hamburgers, okay? It's the pulled pork, the beef, the vegetables that went along with, the French fries, all sorts of choice that you had in your preparation for the event. And the food was prepared and it was served hot, fresh. It was neat on its own basis. The food was great. The whole event, Andy and his staff had a very, very professional and high-performance sound system that generated the music. And of course, you know, we picked the music that we wanted Andy to play, and so there was music from virtually every decade, from the 50s, not the 30s, but the 50s, 60s, right up to the 90s, and so it appealed to a lot of people that were there because we had a wide demographic group. So the music was great, and we had a limited number of speeches, but to move from music to a speech with a mic was so so clean and easy, and the sound was very crisp. It was great. Staff that Andy has, good people attract good people, and I was saying that to Andy recently. And his staff were so attentive. They were absolutely focused on delivering a first-class product, whether it be food, beverage, sound, the setup of the tables. We didn't have to do a thing, and yet the staff were there and looking after our clientele very, very professionally. They were dedicated to their work. The party came to an end. I'm looking at the tent, the tables, the chairs, all the equipment that he had brought, and of course, we're in a retail operation at the same time, so, refuse was papers and stuff like that, drink containers. Everything was cleaned up. And I went into my office to do a couple of catch-up things, and within a very short period of time, Andy's at my door saying, "Bob, we're off. Thank you very much. Everything's done." And I said, I walked outside, and the area was completely cleaned up and done. And our staff, we're a small staff, and we wouldn't have had people that could do that so quickly. But Andy had the right number of people there to get it cleared out. We held the party for sponsors and for volunteers, and in our business, it's so important to thank your sponsors and to thank your guests. And this is really the first professional event that we ran to say thank you after being in business for a number of years, and the reaction was extremely positive. Andy came back a second year for the second annual volunteer and sponsor thank you event, and many of them came back because of their experience the first time around. Many of them said to us, "Bob, we don't normally, when we volunteer to an organization, have someone say thank you so professionally." And so it brought the level of our organization up much higher in the public's mind. So it was a win-win for every aspect of it. Barbecue in a box is so unique. It can be used by any business in any market. Vintage cars, like we have with Party in a Box. The food is so transferable. And whether you're saying thank you to a customer, or thank you to a volunteer, or celebrating some staff achievements, Party in the Box, the barbecue Party in a Box fits the bill. It's a great way of saying thank you or congratulations. The barbecue Party in a Box is a great venue to say thank you to your staff, to your customers, to all the people that come in contact. It doesn't matter what business you're in, barbecue in a box fits the bill entirely. What a great way to say thank you to the people that you do business with.